This video will not contain spoilers for any show. For over a decade now, I've been a massive fan of stuff like anime and manga, and mostly video games as well. But ever since midway through last year, I've been fascinated by a little something called Tokusatsu. It's a style of special effects filmmaking that emphasizes practical effects and physical suits to create its visuals. And while it is used worldwide, this medium is most well known for its prevalence in Japan. As a kid, I remember I was a big fan of Power Rangers. I watched it on TV, I had a big Mighty Morphin Red figure that I brought everywhere, and when I was 5 years old, we went to Disney World, and I even took a picture with one of the Red Rangers that was there as a mascot. But it was so long ago that I don't remember which Ranger it was, which shows I watched, and I don't think the picture still survived to this day. Over time though, I entirely forgot about the franchise and only really knew it as a long-running kids show that I didn't really have any interest in. And to me, the word Tokusatsu had no meaning for the longest time. When I was a kid, one of my art teachers told us that Sentai was a genre of kids shows about transforming heroes like Sailor Moon, Winx Club, and Power Rangers. Although in retrospect it is kind of funny that he mentioned Sailor Moon and Winx Club, given the fact that Sailor Moon did happen to have a Tokusatsu adaptation in 2003, and Winx Club did end up having a live-action TV show much later on. All throughout middle school and high school, I was pretty much only watching anime, reading manga, and occasionally watching some cartoons like Steven Universe or Gravity Falls or anything that was airing and interesting at the time. So I had a big void when it comes to that kind of TV show. And over time, I did have some passing awareness of the existence of Kamen Rider and Ultraman as classic Japanese superheroes. And I knew that Sentai was the Japanese show that Power Rangers takes its footage from, but I didn't really know much more outside of that. And growing up in Puerto Rico, I never really had a local bookstore, much less one that had manga in it. It wasn't until I moved to the US for college that I got to visit a Barnes & Noble. I started going once every month or so, just to visit the manga section and maybe get one or two books. And there was always one book that intrigued me. The hardcover omnibus for the original Kamen Rider manga. I knew Kamen Rider was a Japanese superhero and I was sort of interested in it because I loved classic manga. I loved Devilman, I loved Sailor Moon, and Kamen Rider was right up my alley. At least I thought so. And I was correct too. When I actually picked it up, I read it all in one go and instantly fell in love. Ishinomori's artwork captivated me. His use of paneling, silhouettes, and movement immediately moved me and almost made the panels feel like, and the characters feel like they were actually moving in real time. It hasn't been since Haikyuu, since I had a manga that felt so action-packed and animated as Kamen Rider did. I wanted more, and I knew there were shows, but I didn't know where to start. At the time, I was struggling in college studying computer animation. I thought animation was fun, but I didn't see much of a future for myself in that industry, especially considering the state of said industry. And then one of my professors convinced me to try out digital compositing, and I enjoyed the process enough that I decided to switch gears and become a compositor. But I still didn't have much personal interest in it aside from the idea of having a career. That was right around the time Shin Kamen Rider was coming to the US. I knew it was going to be interesting because I read the manga, so I got my ticket and I watched a limited screening and had a blast. The suits and cinematography made the fights feel unlike anything else I had ever seen up until that point, even with the Marvel stuff that was coming out. The story was so similar to the manga but different enough to keep me actively engaged the entire time, not to mention Hideaki Anno's stellar directing that gave everything an almost surreal, dreamlike feeling. I watched the movie again the next chance I got, and my friends online recommended I try to watch the actual shows. After some consideration, I started with Kamen Rider Blade. Within a week, I had already finished all 49 episodes, and I was hooked. Shortly thereafter, I watched Double, Kabuto, Geats, and O's. Where I had once struggled to even get through 20 episodes of an anime, I was watching 50 episode shows like they were nothing. Suddenly, when I got back to classes, I was filled with this desire to do more with my compositing work. I found myself fascinated with creating these visuals, and I gained a real passion for the art. Then I branched out from just watching Kamen Rider. I started watching Ultraman and Super Sentai. I watched stuff from every era outside of the big three. I loved shows like the delinquent dramas of Sukeban Deka and Shoujo Commando Izumi, or the aforementioned Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. I also started watching standalone movies like Tetsuo the Iron Man, Zeiram, Mechanical Violator Hokkaider, Kamen Rider J, Ultraman the Next, among others. I was always looking at these effects and wondering how they achieved them, whether they were practical or digital effects. Ultra 7 particularly interested me, with how they achieved their visuals with the technology of the time. It made me more passionate about what I was studying and made me actively pursue improvement. On a more personal note, Tokusatsu came to me at a transitional period in my life. It was the final year of college and I felt a bit lost, but these shows lit a fire under me that would just not go out. I felt interested. I felt like, there was something I wanted to do for once. I spent so much time with the characters of each show that they almost felt like friends at a time where I sorely needed some. I cried tears of joy when Eiji found hands that reached out to help him. I cheered when Gento's love for his family reinvigorated him during his toughest battles. My heart hurt for Amazon when he couldn't communicate with the people around him. And I connected with these characters on a personal level, and suddenly 50 episodes felt almost too short. The battles were jaw-dropping and the human drama was heartfelt. Kamen Rider felt like a friend that would be by my side no matter what. Ultraman was like an older brother that would protect me from whatever troubled me or put me in danger. Super Sentai was like watching a group of friends that I could reach out to and feel at home with. These shows were so long that there was always something to go back to whenever I was having a bad day. And the characters would always be there with their own problems, but they always took the time to help somebody else. Whether it be saving the universe from a tyrannical fourth-dimensional being, or telling a little girl that her deceased dad is actually a superhero so that she wouldn't cry. The human emotional cores of these shows is so prevalent that I can't help but be enthralled by them. The variety of stories always meant that there was something different about every new season. Where one season might be a drama about young people trying to unravel their childhood trauma, another might be about a peasant becoming king and saving the world from space bugs. Or maybe about an amnesiac stuck between technological advancements and a wrathful god. Or maybe two detectives trying to stop a drug trade. Or a father at the end of his rope reconnecting with his humanity. Or a monster pledged to fight to protect humanity from his own kind who want to slaughter them despite being misunderstood and dehumanize himself. Tokusatsu is something for everyone, and the barrier for entry is as short as figuring out which suit looks the coolest to you. The grand majority of these seasons are entirely standalone, and even anniversary seasons can be watched with zero prior knowledge. That was largely what made it so easy for me specifically to get sucked into the medium. These shows have had such a huge impact on me, and I would not be the person I am right now without them. They've impacted me professionally, personally, creatively, and even emotionally. These shows have given me hope, inspiration, comfort, and have driven me to be kinder to others. They're a marvel of special effects, innovation, and technical achievement, filled with intensely heartfelt stories, incredibly creative with their premises and visuals, and imbued with so much passion that you can just feel how much these people love what they're making. Tokusatsu is very near and dear to my heart, and while it's only been in my life for a year and some change, I can feel that it's something that'll never ever leave me. I watched Kamen Rider Black Sun with my dad and had a blast. I bonded with him and his brothers about them having watched Ultra 7 and Ultraman when they were little kids. The Showa shows. I found a love for my chosen career path and have made more friends that I can count thanks to the community. If you've made it this far and still haven't seen any Tokusatsu or are still hesitant about where to start, then I strongly recommend you take the leap. You can start pretty much at any season of at least the big 3 Tokusatsu shows, and even stuff like Metal Heroes. Whatever you think looks the coolest is where you should start. And if you're already a fan of Tokusatsu and are still here, thank you for watching. I'd love to hear how you became a fan of Tokusatsu in the comments below. But most of all, thank you for making it this far, and I hope you have yourself a damn good one. Alright, so if you've looked at the runtime and see that the video still isn't over yet, then this little bit is just a little bit extra for me to talk to the camera candidly. Or not to the camera, but to the OBS on my laptop. Thank you for watching this a lot. This is my first properly scripted video. I have had a lot of videos where I've had notes in the past, but this one is the first one where I actually wrote a whole script, a more comprehensive one. It's shorter, which you would notice, but I'm really trying this out. I'm also trying out different ways to record. I'm just playing around with OBS. I'm keeping my AC turned off so that it doesn't come through on my mic. And also making sure that I don't play with anything or touch anything on because I'm on my bed right now, so that you can't hear, so that the audio is as clear as possible for just my voice. I'd love any and all feedback you guys could have about how I could improve my audio and my videos, especially those of y'all that watch my videos but are YouTubers. Like, I cannot thank y'all enough for your help. Like Mako, Marcos, Yato, Yuma, Axel, y'all are amazing. Thank you so much. And again, I'd like any feedback you guys can give me. I'm just trying to get better, and if you're still here, again, thank you so much, and please keep on watching if possible to see me get better in the future. Thank you very much.